buenos dias, buenas tardes, and buenas noches at whatever time you're tuning in. Welcome to Business Matters with Laura Nowlin podcast. First, I want to start off with giving a big shout out to CS Now Staffing, our sponsor. If you're looking to build a winning team of professionals, give us a call, 702-902-2448. And today, makeup is done by Faces by Dre. Reach out to her, $75, really good. Her phone number is 714-595-1837. And today, my hair is done by Maria Bolivar. She is with Beauty and Health at 702-845-9696. And today, like I say,
You know I have no relatability on that, right? I mean, none. I mean, absolutely none about that.
One more thing. Anthony. So we have to talk about Anthony. Anthony Mendoza is the CEO of the Launchpad. So we are wearing what I say, a new pair of shoes. We're at a new studio today. So welcome. I have my instructor here, Tim Schneider. Welcome to our show.
Thank you so much, Laura.
You're like,
Absolutely. Well, I'm still stuck on the hair thing. I am absolutely thrilled to be here, thrilled to join you. And I just love your podcast. I mean, I've listened to several episodes of it and just absolutely love it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. We put out a new release every Friday about 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time when we're not having technical difficulties. That happens sometimes.
It does. It absolutely does. It absolutely does.
Yeah. So tell us, are you originally here from Vegas? If not, where are you from and how did you get here?
That may occupy our half hour. I'm originally from the Midwest, Nebraska specifically. I went to school at the University of Wyoming, and from there I have had jobs in Phoenix, Arizona in the banking industry, and I moved to the Vegas Valley in 1990. Matter of fact, it's kind of interesting. That was the last year that water came over the spillway at Hoover Dam. And I guess if you want to blame me on the drought or the lake losing its water, I guess that's my fault.
It's your fault.
That's my fault. So I've been here since 1990. I make my home in Henderson and absolutely love it. Absolutely love it.
And how did you get to actually teaching where we've met, right, at the Vegas Chamber?
Yeah, I started in 1992. That's a long time.
Yeah.
Started in 1992, offering classes through, at the time, the Community College of Southern Nevada, now CSN. And those classes became incredibly popular very quick. In fact, I had to hire assistant instructors very quick just to fill the classes or to cover the classes. We were getting 70 and 80 people per class.
It's really good class.
And from there, we developed, and I'm really proud of this too, Laura. I can track back all of our customer base to customer one from those classes at CSN.
Wow.
And, I visualize this, giant family tree, and for our customer base, that's exactly what it was.
Oh, yes. And so...
Can I tell you who it was?
Absolutely.
The longtime Nevadans will get this reference. Cashman Cadillac. They were customer one or customer zero, if you will. The HR director there, who I'm still friends with on Facebook, had faith in us, and we delivered programs for them for 4 or 5 years, and they were customer one. And it wasn't long after that I began doing it full-time, and things have been just absolutely, I've lived a charmed life ever since.
Oh, yeah. And so when me sitting in your class, you don't let us even put our heads down for it. We can't even close our eyes because it's like, oh, you're calling on us.
That's right. And
Participation.
And then pick up your phone or act like you're doing something else and you're done with. I use a pretty assertive facilitation style. I mean, I guess that's the polite terminology.
I love it. I love it.
But it's also one of the best models for adult learners. It certainly wouldn't work with second graders or something like that. But for adult learners, it works incredibly well. It keeps everybody engaged. Everybody is participatory. Even that person that, comes in and, locks down their arms and wants to hide out in the back. They don't get a rest period back there.
No, they don't.
We make sure everybody's engaged and connected very, very quickly.
And then some of us engage a little too much, and he lets us know it.
in a gentle kind of way, right? Kinda, maybe.
Let's talk a little more about what you actually teach in the classes.
Okay. We have offered over the years, our four core areas are professional growth, customer service programs, team development programs, and then also our big specialty that we do the most of is leadership development in and doing extended term programs where there are multiple contact points, multiple classes, I guess, if you will, and really getting to watch that leader from kind of start to end over an extended period of time. That's what we do the most, and I would say that's what we do the best.
And so I know for me, what I took that was most valuable for me, right? And I want to say it even hit home the last day in class.
Ah,
You remember what I said?
I do remember what you said. I remember you talked a lot about empowerment and self empowerment, and absolutely, I remember that and always will.
So I have a very large network,
Yes, you do.
but I don't use my network. And what I learned in class on the last day is that I really need to use my network. 18 years doing staffing here in Vegas, owned my business for the last 10 years. In October 2014 is when we started a nonprofit organization in January of 2015. So I come across a lot of
Oh,
people,
yeah.
even on a national level,
Yep.
and some even international. But every time I would pick up that phone, it was always for someone else.
Yeah.
I had to learn that, you know what? I really need to get to at least 70% of using my network. And that's what I've been working on for
Good.
2025 with my big issue that I had with one of my clients not paying my invoice. I mean, literally it was 240,000 what he had not paid. And we've been in this contract for 18 months and only once did he pay on
Oh,
time.
wow.
And so it had been going on and on and on. And finally, I'm like, I gotta reach out to someone I know. So I reached out to the DBE team and told them what was happening. And I said, the client keeps telling me that the airport's not paying the bills on time. And and so I really don't know. I don't know what to do. And he said, well, let's just gather us together, right? And have a meeting. So I call the client, tell him we have a meeting, and he fires me on the spot.
Oh, wow.
I said, "It's okay, sir. I'm still going to that meeting. You can show up if you like or not."
Yep.
I show up, he shows up. They take away our badges at the airport. We can no longer work there. Um, they couldn't really even do much. But I'm like, my network, if anybody is somebody out there, someone's gonna help me.
You bet. And I think the real powerful object lesson on that, Laura, is it's one thing to have a bazillion connections. Sometimes we look at our social media and you got,
Oh, yeah.
3,000 followers and all those, but you know what? It's okay to be a little selfish with that too. The reason we have networks and connections is to have mutual benefit and mutual gain out of that. And it shouldn't all be one sided where they're asking you to do something.
Right. So my goal is to get to 100%. Can I do it where all I have to do is pick up a phone and that's it?
I think so. I think that's doable. I mean, the people that have built the strength of relationships and strength of network, they can do that. They can absolutely positively do that.
I can't wait to give.
And relationship power really is the type of leadership power, the type of business power that sustains. You can talk about all other kinds of power types and things like that, but at the end of the day, the sustainable power is relationship power.
Look at that. I have my teacher in here.
There you go. There you go.
You built that relationship.
Well, and from our perspective, that has been why it certainly won't help your host at all here. We don't spend really a dime on marketing because our relationship base has been so strong. Um, People refer us openly. People use us over and over again. I mean, a lot of our customers are 10 plus year relationships. We were just in Miami 2 weeks ago. Our relationship with Carnival Corp, our biggest customer, that I cherish that relationship. And the truth is about it, you have to put work into that relationship too.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Oh, no, definitely. And so what you're teaching is the DISC personality assessment, but taught. I've never seen it taught the way you teach it, right? I
Is that good, Lori?
No, this was really good because I learned something. Like, I took Brandon Ward's class, and he does it with birds,
Yeah.
okay?
I've seen a lot of models. I've seen Star Wars. I've seen colors. I've seen all kinds of things. DISC is a a behavioral assessment tool that we've used. We have been a 20-year distributor of the DISC tool, 15-year award winner for that tool. And we've developed kind of an interesting modality in terms of how we talk about it and how we use it and how we integrate it in work with communication, teamwork, conflict, and things like that.
So, talk a little bit about those personality assessments,
Yeah.
like the different styles.
So there are there's probably two or three really big ones that a lot of people are familiar with, the DISC being one of those. MBTI Myers-Briggs is another one. They're all valid psychometric tools. However, they measure different things. We've chosen to use the DISC in our practice because the behavioral piece tends to be the one that is the most predictive. And it's the one that I can pick out easiest in people too. Um, it measures four characteristics. It's based on a science called Marston's model of behavior. And the four characteristics are dominance, influence, steadiness, and conscientiousness. And even though we have influences from all of those, we have one primary driving style that really kind of determines how we communicate and interact with others. The big element of that, Laura, and I think this was your takeaway too, it's a powerful, powerful part of self-awareness for any leader. Because there are things in there that you look at and you go, yeah, 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 that's me, that's me. And then there's some parts in there you look at it and go, no, that's not me.
Me, and
But
yes, it
but
is
but
you.
sadly, because of the predictive accuracy, it is you. Uh, and I got to tell you, if I can share with your audience any one tip to be a effective leader, a solid business person, and that is to get a higher level, higher degree of self-awareness. Whether it's through assessment tools, whether it's through feedback, I am blessed, and I know you are too, of having a feedback partner that will absolutely
I'm more than one.
well, and I got to tell you that ability to have somebody with compassion speak honesty to you is absolutely priceless. If you have that person in your life or multiple in your life, hold them close.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't have them in your life, they're probably closer than you think they are. Keep them, find them, and keep them around because that person is absolute solid gold. That person will say, "Tim, you're on the wrong track. Tim, you're not thinking about this right." Or in my case, many times, "Tim, have you thought about it this way?" I hear that quite a bit. My feedback partner helped me a great deal with the last book that we just published, Rise. And she was just absolutely instrumental in the feedback that she provided, especially early on. And I got to tell you, without that, that book would not have happened.
Now, so talk about more of your books because you've written quite a bit.
I I have, but I don't play a writer on TV, and nor would I ever pretend to be. I am an organizational development guy that had enough time to write a few things. I've written 4 books. Lead Well is the bestseller. That's one, and you read that in class. That is a guide to leading effectively, taking us through 10 important competencies of leadership. The one that we just published about 6 months ago, and it's doing incredibly well, it's called Rise, Creating Unlimited Happiness. You started and read part of that in class. That's a much more personal book about self-defeating behaviors and adjusting attitudes and beliefs to align and create happiness and create success. That book was incredibly hard to write. And I'll tell you the reason it was hard to write. When you help other people with their demons, you have to confront your own.
Exactly.
And that bound down the process pretty good. I mean, because, within that, I had to look, very much in the mirror about some of those things and go, man, Schneider, you got to get your act together before you tell other people to get their act together.
Well,
But that book's doing really, really well too. And critically, that's been the one that's been the best received so far. And the sales, early sales on that have been just incredible.
No, that's great. One thing that I shouldn't say one thing. Another thing that I learned is that I really needed to continue growing as a communicator, a good communicator. I needed to increase those skills. My daughter, who's my sounding board, and she's my VP of operations, she's the one that she's a really good communicator. She's the one that will calm me down and say, "That's a great idea. Not that one. Not yet.
I love
And
that.
let me help you pivot." Because if not, what happens is I take my whole team and then oh, I lost that one.
Yep, yep,
Right?
yep, yep.
So 4 of my
Love
team
that.
members,
Love.
okay, either they left me or I left them,
Yep.
all 4, okay? Here we are now, all 4 of them are back.
Oh, how cool is that?
Every single one of them. And Dunya, she told me, "You know what, Laura?" She goes, "We weren't ready for you."
Yep.
But I'm gonna be honest with you, I wasn't ready for them.
And that's true. Sometimes we're thrust into leadership roles and we're not quite ready yet, and we have to grow into them. And that first little bit of time can be kind of awkward and kind of tough.
Oh, yeah.
You're lucky that the casualty was recovered from that. But I think that the really big point that you made there too, Laura, and it goes beyond communication, because communication skill is always going to be kind of a work in progress.
Yeah.
But that need for all leaders at all levels to continuously grow. A lot of leaders, they get to a point, whatever that is, a supervisor, a manager, a business owner, in your case, an executive, whatever that is. And they say, well, I'm here. Yeah, well, it's just starting now. That commitment to continuous growth, whatever that looks like, whether that's reading, whether that's taking a class, whether that's just challenging yourself to adapt to new skills and new things, is so important for people.
I remember a teacher told me that once a student, always a student.
Oh, yeah.
That's exactly how I feel. I can't stop taking classes.
But you know what? And I think that is absolutely awesome. But so many people think of that education as kind of an end point. It's like, well, I graduated or I completed or I got the certificate. Those folks that crave learning, and it might not even be perfectly on point
Right.
learning,
Yes, because I
but
only get little
but
nuggets.
crave learning. Man, I tell you what, those folks are going to be successful.
Yeah. I don't retain very well.
Oh yeah, you do.
Because I'm so hyper, so sometimes I miss certain points, but I will tell you that when I grab something, it's with me forever,
Right.
so in every class that I take, I try to at least
Yep.
grab a few little nuggets here.
And I think that's true for, when you listen to a podcast, when you read a book, whatever it is. The object isn't to learn everything from, start to finish. It really is, what can you pick out that's applicable, that's actionable right now? And if that's one thing, two things, man, that's a score. That is a big win at that moment in time.
And so a lot of people don't even sit down to watch the whole 30-minute podcast. You have to do shorts.
Well,
Attention span.
yeah, yeah. I mean, the videos we produce for our weekly newsletter, I've had to narrow those because my default is to go 5-6 minutes, and then I realize, well, people are watching a minute and a half. So messages have to be condensed. I mean, welcome to the world of TikTok and everything delivered in 3-minute bites, and that's where we live.
One thing my communication style was like, or I guess form. Don't send me a bunch of emails.
Right. Talk to me.
Talk to me, number 1. I love meeting with people in
Mhm.
person instead of virtual, but I will do virtual if we can't meet in person, but I wanna see you,
Right.
right? Another one is text me
Yeah.
because then I can respond to that text whenever I'm available,
Right.
24/7.
Right. And it's live time kind of stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, but I could get myself into a lot of trouble because I get up, like, at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I have no problem texting someone at that time, but I'm like, "Just don't read the text until you get up."
But not everybody's as good at turning their phone off, perhaps, as you are. Yeah. Uh, no, I get that. And especially those folks out there that, write these 3 and 4 paragraph emails. I got a lesson for you. Nobody's reading it. Nobody, not your mom, nobody's reading those things. It makes their head explode. Pick up the phone, call them, go see them, talk to them. If you must send a note to say, hey, can we get together?
Right.
And have that rich dialogue of two people together. That's how we were built to communicate.
What other classes are you teaching besides at the Vegas Chamber,
Mhm.
right here locally in Las Vegas?
We only have now two open enrollment programs
Okay.
that are offered. The program at the Vegas Chamber is kind of a premier thing offered twice a year for leaders. And, as you know, that is consistently sold out and full. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a great experience. Also, as people come in and there's room of 25, 30 strangers and they walk out and they are 25, 30 friends. The other open enrollment program that we offer locally is through an organization that has a annual conference here every year, and they draw between 1,500 and 2,000 people. And for 20 years, we have offered a leadership track for them. And for 20 years, that leadership track has been sold out too. As a matter of fact, that was just done last week. And we had 20 people go through the entire track. We now offer it both live and virtually in simulcast. But the bulk of our work is customized for customers. So a organization will engage us to bring the program to them. And that's the bulk of what we do.
So then a company can hire you to come in and basically train their team.
It is. Me and my team, depending on the size, the scope, the geography associated with it. Yeah, it's my funny little rule of thumb is if Southwest Airlines can get me there, I'm fine. I'm golden. And if not Southwest, if somebody else can get me there, fine. We've worked internationally. We worked in Germany. We worked in the Bahamas, a variety of places. I counted last year sometime we had touched 48 states,
Wow.
including Alaska. And yeah, we put in the mileage. My A-list status is not in question right now. And we've also do quite a bit virtually, and I do individually a lot of individual coaching too for senior leaders and executives.
Where was your favorite place to go? Like out of all the places that you've taught,
Oh,
where the it just really stood out.
I'm gonna alienate somebody with
It's
that. They're
okay.
they're gonna say that's awesome or that's horrible. I will tell you, I probably enjoy working with carnival people, carnival cruise people more than anybody. They're spirited, they're fun, they're hospitality driven. I enjoy them a lot. Oftentimes they bring their teams here so we can work with them. We also get to go to Miami and some other places where their operations are at, and they're just spectacular. I will tell you that if I could afford to retire in the Rhine River Valley of Germany, I would do it in a heartbeat. That was a contract with the United States Department of Defense, Central Command Europe, and loved it. Fell in love with it. I'd also weigh 375 pounds if I lived there too. Everything is fried, everything is pork, and everything comes with beer. So I would be huge.
But you would be playing baseball.
I probably would find a way to play baseball and work out a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, what if there's someone out there that wants to do what you do?
I get that a few
Mhm.
times. But maybe a handful of times a year, somebody will approach me and say, You know what? I really like what you do.
Mhm.
I like the fact that you touch lives and things like that because, at the end of the day, that's what it's about. I don't do it for any other reason. I want somebody's life to be better. And, they like that. It resonates with them. And if they have some core skill sets, if they like to show off a little bit, if they like to, if they're okay up in front of folks,
Right.
if they have a little bit of an educational background,
Mhm.
man, I tell you what, I'll talk to them, I'll help them, I'll coach them. Many times I'll give them opportunities. Every member of my team right now
Mhm.
is a prior graduate of one of our programs that did that exact same thing. They said, "Hey, if you ever have an opening, let me know," or, "Hey, do you think I could do this?" Every single one of them came through that pipeline.
Nice.
It is.
So they experience it as a student.
They did, and I'm at the point now, Laura, I won't hire somebody that isn't a graduate.
Makes sense.
I mean, I want them to know what it's like to sit on your side of the table and to feel that and sense that, uh, because to build that base, I'm not sure I could do it unless they experienced it as a participant.
So the DISC,
Ah.
okay? Totally opposites.
Oh, couldn't be farther apart. Yep.
So share a little bit about that. We have 5 minutes left. Share about what you do in your class.
D for dominance, if you happen to score there. Those folks are very assertive, very directive. They tend to talk in bullet points and short kind of things. They tend to cause action. That's probably their overwhelming thing. I for influence is an ultimate people-based person. They love relational interaction. They tend to be enthusiastic. They tend to be optimistic. Very outgoing group. S's are an incredible group of folks. They tend to be, this is interesting, they tend to be natural empaths, very much in tune with the emotions of not only theirs, but others. Very harmonious. They want a harmonious, stable environment, both at work and at home. They like predictability. They talk in kind of a low key, methodical way. And then finally, the C's have a detail orientation. C for conscientiousness. They are all about the facts, the detail, checking for accuracy. Um, you see them a lot in technical environments, engineering, medical, and actually, I'm kind of glad in medical
Right?
that they picked.
Brain surgery?
I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want a D stitching me up. I want
First high.
or an I. I want to see a stitching me up. Thank you very much. Yeah, and I want them to pay attention to the medicine and all that stuff. Uh, but yeah, and what's interesting is we throw those people all into a workplace together and, kind of hope for the best. Well, you have to be kind of intentional. You have to learn how to adapt. You have to learn how to be empathetic to those differences and not quite be so harshly judgmental about it.
Right.
But yeah, you're so right. They could not be farther apart in how they operate.
But yet we become more successful even in a marriage when you marry the opposite, right?
I've done a lot for couples over the years of I'll do a side by side report for them. One person side by side, and it'll show, where things click naturally
Yes.
and then where the ones they have to work at a little
Mhm.
bit.
Mhm.
And it is workable if you're willing to accept the difference as having value. So if you look at that difference and go, yeah, you know what, the direct works because we get things done, or yeah, that low key approach works, especially in difficult situations. You learn to respect those
Yeah.
differences. It works. If you fight the differences, it won't work.
Now, and to build a team, you literally need to build the opposite, and you do if you're able to put together a whole team.
And for entrepreneurs like us, it's very tempting to hire folks that look like and sound like us. But boy, that doesn't help us a lot. We need folks that will respectfully disagree with us, that will, respectfully approach things differently. That's what we really, really need.
Oh, once again, thank you so much for coming on the show. In closing, how can someone get a hold of you?
Yeah.
So
Our,
that way they can take some of your classes.
sure. Our website
Mhm.
is discover, DISCOVER, Aegis, AEGIS.com. You can also, I'm probably one of the easiest to Google humans on the face of the earth. Last name is SCHNEIDER. My phone number locally is 702 685 2603. That's the office number. And love to talk to anybody. Any questions, any comments, love to help anybody out.
And he will definitely help you out to become a better communicator because I know that you really impacted my life. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Laura. My pleasure to be with you. This was a special treat. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. All right. Well, make sure that you follow us, okay? Down below, hit the link, make some comments there. Tell me, do you like the show? What can I improve on? I'm okay.
Better guests, maybe? I don't know.
Doesn't get better than this. Well, thank you and God bless. We'll catch you on the next one.